This is Matchday Live with NordVPN. A repeat of the opening fixture of the season tonight, our first trip to the Hill Dickinson Stadium as both clubs look to build on 1-0 wins last time out. All the build-up on the way. We got Don Matteo, we got Michael Bridges ahead of full match commentary. It's Everton against Leeds United live on LUTV. Here we go then, we've had to wait and wait this weekend, but eventually it's become our turn. 8 o'clock kickoff tonight. Full match commentary on the way. Michael Bridges and Don Matteo with us here in the studio. We cannot wait for this one. Don, firstly, lovely to have you back in the studio.
Oh, thank you.
Been away, you're looking refreshed.
Nice to be back, thank you. Yeah.
It's great to have you here. Excited for tonight?
I am indeed, yeah. I think it's another important game, and it won't be easy. We know that Everton are always well set up under David Moyes. So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a game we can get some out of. Yeah,
and Bridgie couldn't make the team today because he's got an eyelash stuck in the eye. So, are you going to be all right, by the way?
Mate, this could put me out for a whole season.
If you see him blinking a little bit, that's the reason why, just before we came on air. Huge game today and a new setting we can see for the team arriving at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time.
Yeah, the lads going to the Hill Dickinson for the first time. I've been there at the stadium myself, you know, I was well impressed. Thought it was a fantastic new facility, and the good news is that Everton haven't really bedded in to be, you know, they haven't got the results at home that they would have liked at their new stadium. Goodison Park, you know, they've been there for many years, an opportunity. So we're going there in, I would say, lads are in good confidence going there, knowing that Everton haven't really made this place a fortress as yet. So looking forward to it, like Dom says.
Yeah, it feels like ages since we played because all the kind of, you know, you do the Monday night fixture, you have to wait that little bit longer. So I guess they've been looking at everything else going on and they'll be chomping at the bit to try and get something tonight, Dom.
Yeah, listen, like I said before, I think it's a really important game for both teams. And I think this, for this kind of game, for me, I think we're on the front foot in this game because I think we've had a really good performance. We've won at home. Can we use that? You know, the home performances for us have been absolutely outstanding. Can we bring it in the away form as well? I think that's the one thing we need now, is a few wins away from home. I think we're doing so well at the moment. The manager's getting the right balance, picking the right squads, the right teams at the right moments. I just want to see us get a couple of wins away from home. I really do.
We saw Dominic Calvert-Lewin making his way in there. Must be mixed emotions for him, but a different stadium, so not quite like going to, say, Goodison Park. But let's just run through the team news tonight. How much of an impact might he have? If you were writing a script, Bridgie, you'd have him scoring a winner, but we'll see how it goes. Let's just take a look at the team. Carl Darlow remains in goal tonight. Then it's a back five, probably Bornau Rodon and Pascal Strike as the three. Jaden Bogle on the right-hand side. James Justin on the left-hand side. A midfield three of Ilya Gruev, Ethan Ampadu, who captains the team, and Anton Stack is back in after injury, which is good news. We were hoping he'd be available for this. And then Brendan Aronson probably just behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's a sort of 5-3-1-1-ish, would you say?
I would say with the ball, definitely. Back five, I mean, that'll turn into a three. The wing-backs will push on with Bogle and Justin. You'll have Ampadu, Screen and Stack, and Gerv will probably be the supporting midfielders with Aronson and, like you say, Calvert-Lewin up top. I think defensively you'll see that change into a 5-4-1. Aronson will either pan out into the middle or he'll go on that right-hand side or the left-hand side alongside Gerv and Stack. So the change in system with and without the ball has really suited us this season, especially in the final third, because we've had players in and around our attackers, and we've seen goals from Dom Calvert-Lewin. We've seen Matteo getting the score sheet, we've seen Okafor, and the deliveries have been absolutely superb from the wide players into the box.
And I think Bridgie's bang on there. I think there's so many players that are playing so well at the minute. It's such a good problem to have for a manager. Yeah. It's a while since we've been saying that, haven't we? The manager's got a few issues now on what team to play because everyone wants a part of it now. When you're playing well, confidence growing, and I think Brendan Aronson for me as well he's had his critics, and I tell you what, he's put some shift in the last few games, and
some big goals.
He has scored some big goals, but even I've seen him getting back, defending.
Yeah.
That's what I know. It's not his main job, but you have to do that, especially in the Premier League, and I've seen more of that, and that's what I like to see as a player. Doing all them extra bits that gets you a better player.
He doesn't look as intimidated going into games. He's not getting as bullied as easily as when he first came to the Premier League. He was shoved off the ball far too easy. He's got that energy level now, which is through the roof. And I think that's why he's a mainstay, because of the pressing element. But now he's turning his stats into goals and assists, which is great. I
just want to mention one other player before we hear from Jaden Bogle. James Justin in the team again. We think he's going to play on the left-hand side tonight. We've seen him play in the 3 at the back. We saw him fill in on the right-hand side as well. And he's played really well on the left tonight, Dom. So a different role for him there. But his versatility has been so key to just navigating these injuries.
It has, and I think he's got that bit of experience. He's played at a high level. He understands the game. He reads it well. And so I think you can play him in any of them positions that we discussed, and he'll do a good job. If you asked him where he'd want to play, obviously he'd want to play right side probably. But I think he's one of those players that, from what I'm hearing, he's good behind the scenes. He's good at at the training ground. He's one of those good lads that you want around the team, and I think that's why. But obviously we've got an injury at left back as well, so that's a big loss. But with him coming in, for me, it's not such a big loss. I mean, maybe getting forward, he won't bomb on as much. But I just think I think he's picked the right team tonight to try and get something. And I think the threat up top, and like we mentioned with Dominic. He must be, you can see on his face there, he'll be smiling. He'll want to come here and prove them wrong, because you do that as a player.
Oh, absolutely.
When I left Liverpool, I went back to, I came to Leeds, your first game, you want to make a difference. And we beat him. We beat him that day at Anfield. So I think Dominic will want that as well.
It's amazing how many times you score against your old clubs when you leave. Yeah. There's no more incentive needed.
It's happening, guys. It's happening. It's happening tonight. We're going to take a look in a moment at your mixed fortunes against Everton. Might be a good way to put it. We know why you're smiling. You'll find out in just a moment if you can't remember from that season. But before we do, let's go from one flank with James Justin to the opposite flank with the thoughts pre-match of Jaden Bogle.
Well, Jaden, first chance to have a quick look around. What's the impression?
Yeah, it's nice. But more importantly, to focus on the game. A big test coming up, and another good chance to pick up some points.
Yeah, great venue, but they've found it a little bit difficult here at home, haven't they? Can you exploit that perhaps this evening?
Yeah, I think against every team in this league, there's chances to exploit. Again, it's just about focusing on what we do and how we go and execute that on the pitch.
Weekend results, pressure behind, chance above. It's all to play for tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just take it game by game, not focus too much on other results, and just about going and putting in performances and picking up results.
Yeah, I mentioned the other results there. We kind of have to mention what's been going on elsewhere in the league, don't we? Because it does kind of change things. The fortunes of being a fan, and in the area of the table we are, you have to look around you. Everton are only 7 points ahead of us, so a win today would close that up. Then you suddenly got a chunk of teams who from nowhere are not that far away. Brighton on 30, Bournemouth on 30, then Tottenham and Palace just 3 points ahead on 28. But then, of course, the two teams below, West Ham, back-to-back wins, Nottingham Forest 7 points from the last 9 available. And suddenly it has squished up a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's the results that were below us, like you say, the West Ham results. Forest getting the result, I think Burnley managing to get a point as well. You see all the teams and you think, no, but what it has done, like you say, it's dragged the others that are above us right back into that mix. So that's why I think tonight, as Dom mentioned, this evening's game is so important that we either come away with a point. I mean, 3 points would be magic, but we can't lose. We've got to stay in touch and distance. And like you say, no more incentive. If you show the lads the table, and the lads watch the table and know for a fact they will be looking, Crystal Palace and Tottenham Hotspur, they're in the sights. It's a huge game tonight.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? We're looking at them thinking, can we reel them in? Yeah. And West Ham and Nottingham Forest will be saying exactly the same about us. In fact, Forest are now on the same amount of points as we've got them coming up in a couple of games' time.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's exciting. Obviously, we're in good form. We're playing well. But I think what we've got to do again today, for me, is just defend properly. Away from home, defend properly, win your battles all over. I say it all the time because I always say you win them personal battles, especially in a game like this. At Everton, new stadium, they've not quite settled there yet. So this is an opportunity to get out there, start quick, start on the front foot. All the things we talk about before the game kicks off. do all the basics really well in the early part of the game. Don't make them mistakes. And I think we've got better at that, touch wood. We have been defending a lot better. And like you say, last game at home, clean sheet, love it.
Let's take a trip down memory lane to fill the good vibes in the studio beforehand. He was a good player, this one, Don, wasn't he, Bridget? He was a good player.
When's he
coming? Yeah, not anymore. Let's go back to the 1999-2000 season when a young Michael Bridges played against Everton, and you had some season against them in this season. Yeah. Let's take a look at the goals you scored against them. One of not many to have scored in home and away games. So, come on, Bridget, you talk us through these, because these are beauties.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, it's a great ball from Lee Bowyer, but I have to say, if it was VAR, I would have definitely been called offside for this one. So I took a big gamble, and then that ball just sat up lovely. There was only one place that was going, but it was all about the pass. What I loved, Lee Bowyer, he had a great vision. His energy levels were fantastic, and yeah, it was just nice to get on the end of that one against Everton.
Are those frosted tips there, Bridgie, from back in the day?
Absolutely.
Looking good, man.
They were the in thing, man.
Looking good.
That's when you realise, you knew when you were getting your highlights done that you'd scored a few games back to back. I think that was 4 games in a row actually scored, you know. So it was, I was in a rich vein of form, but it was just due to the quality of the lads around us. You know, if they're producing goals for you and chances.
Here's the reverse fixture, which is one of those odd ones when they're in like reverse kits as well, and Lee Bowyer's in the thick of the action as well. But talk us through this one.
It was a missed kick. This was a shot from Harry Kewell right across goal. Smithy missed it, and thankfully I was in the right place at the right time to get back post. This was an incredible game. This was a 4-4 classic. I'll never forget, I was absolutely gutted on the bus going home because we put in such a great performance, and sadly we came away with only a point.
Yeah, you weren't going to miss this though. I mean, come on, this is.
I missed a few, but
don't worry, that
was back in the bag.
And this is this the best of the bunch?
Yeah, this is the one. It's Hooks' pass, you know. It's all about Hooks' assist. Watch this. He puts it, bounces right into us.
Oh, look at that!
And I thought, I'll tee it up.
Great finish.
And do you know why the only reason I did that? Because I was so tired I couldn't be bothered to take anybody on. It was late on in the game. But yeah, that was a good shin roller. Past Gerrard, like you see, I used to love playing against Everton. Whether it was for Leeds United and that. I think I scored 3 against them for Sunderland as well in a couple of seasons. So yeah, it was a fun place. Let's hope the lads, and let's hope DCL gets on the score sheet tonight.
I don't like to compliment you too much, but they were good. So that's how you do it. Don Matteo, Bridget, he was a great player as well, wasn't he, Bridget? Let's take a look at your...
Especially in the San Siro.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening here now?
What's happening here? Yeah. Let's take a look, Tom. I know you've erased this from your memory completely, but let's just take a look at you in action here. Here we go.
Did you score against Everton?
No,
that's not even a foul, that.
Oh, you's a shocking. You're showing his red card.
That's Radzinski, that, isn't it? Diving again.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
it was meaty.
Some would call it a bit of a lash out on that one, Don. Would you have a fair yellow card and then to follow it up quite quickly with one of those?
That was naughty on Kevin Campbell. You knew exactly what you were doing.
No, to be fair, I was really close with Kevin as well. Good guy, and obviously big loss. I mean, the thing is, when you're playing against Everton, I'm always going to get a bit of stick, aren't I?
You took it well, mind.
Yeah, I did. I got told off. The referee told me off, and then I got an absolute telling off by the stewards because I wrecked the dressing room. That's not like me, is it?
You know what I like there? I didn't realise Nigel came out. Our goalkeeper, Nigel Martin, came out to really defend you there. I've never seen him that animated before.
Well, I'll take that. Good lad, Nigel.
3 goals over here and a red card there. There you go. What I like, by the way, credit to our editing team as well, who just cut you before you said the rude word to the referee when you were walking off then.
But can we just say, hold on, Bridgie gets the nice highlights of goals, and I get sending off. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Don't worry.
That's why I asked us
who edited that.
Don't worry. Like I say, if we get to the Champions League and we play AC Milan again, you'll have your moment. Don't worry about it. Right, let's go back to the last game. Leeds, of course, on the back of a 1-0 win against Fulham. They left it late, but this was a great goal as well. We're talking about your goals, but this from Lucas Nemecha, who, of course, scored the penalty against Everton at the start of the season. And it's Ethan Ampadu up there putting the ball in, Bridget.
Yeah, it was just it's a brilliant striker's finish, and he came on fresh, you know. He was playing... You could tell by the mindset how quickly he reacted and how he actually got himself in there. He had the extra energy from coming on. He had a point to prove. But the way that he had a gamble and came in behind the defender on the blind side, but then to actually face the wrong way to get the touch towards goal, that was what was most impressive about the finish. But the 3 points and the atmosphere at this ground was just incredible.
And Dom, you always talk about wanting to win your individual battles, your duels, and you talk about that a lot of the time in a defensive sense. Yeah. But he scored this goal. He wants to get to the ball more than the defender. That's a duel, but at that end of the pitch, and you get a goal out of it.
100%. And the one thing we've seen with him is he's got the energy, he puts himself about, and sometimes if you put your shift in, you work hard, you get your rewards. That's what he's getting. And obviously we know at times he's not been starting, but I tell you what, he's still sharp, he still wants to score the goals, he still wants to get on things, and that's what I like. I like that attitude that the players seem to have at this present time.
Well, one of the players who hopefully might make an impact, if needed, from the bench this evening. Right then, our commentary team at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time for them are Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo, so let's get their thoughts ahead of kickoff.
So here we are, a new stadium. Everton have a new home. Goodison Park it very much isn't. First things first, Tony, as we emerge from the tunnel here, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, to be fair?
It really is impressive, yes. I think the angle, certainly of the stadium, is quite incredible. They seem to be on top of you. So, yeah, I think anything nice and bright and shiny and new is great. So I'm looking forward to, seeing what the atmosphere is like.
Let's have a quick word about the team news. Now we've got new stadium bit out the way. They've had to be changes again, which is a bit disappointing, I guess.
It is. Injuries are always going to be part of it, but Goodmanson, I think, is a miss. Clearly, he's having a great season. Really good to see someone on that left-hand side, doing so well, but unfortunately he hasn't made it. So James Justin will play yet another position, then he'll move to left wing-back. Bornau will come in as one of the three centre-halves, and Bogle, of course, on the right. And Anton Stack is back in midfield as well, along with Ampadu and Gruev. So, yeah, it's all change. However, it's not about, I don't think, any individual in this team. It really is about the collective and how we play and our mentality, and that's been really good.
So this place, I've been talking to Everton people, and they're telling me that this place looks fantastic, but they haven't got a great record here thus far, have they? And it can be very quiet, apparently, when things aren't going well. Is there something in that for Leeds, perhaps?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. Home form, we know how key it is at Elland Road. We know how it can change things, how it can support the team and really drive them on. And if you haven't got that, it's a bit of a problem. So I think for us, the start will be really important in that we quieten the crowd very quickly. Then if we can get on that front foot and push them back, you wonder how the natives will then react, and then we'll see what this place is like. But for us, it's still a pitch, 2 goals either end, and it's about getting the job done.
Above, chance to catch people. Below, they've come a little closer again. So it's still pressure, isn't it?
It's always pressure. I'm not looking below, I'm looking up that way. I'm seeing Palace 3 points above us. Let's go for that. You're right, it's always about what we do. We are in charge of our own destiny, absolutely. As fans, I'm doing the same as you. I'm looking at what's happening. West Ham, their results recently have been very good. Forest now winning, obviously, at Brentford. But it is down to us. We win here tonight, all of a sudden, everything is back to the status quo. There's a long way to go, but I still think, we're in a good spot.
And we're in a very good venue as well. This is Leeds' 200th stadium that they'll have played a game in, as I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the opening day of the season when we played Everton last. It feels like, when you're playing the team you played in the opening day of the season, you're getting towards the business end, don't you? But you can see that
penalty. Yeah.
The Metcha penalty, yeah. We'll take a look at it in just a moment. But there you go, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Like I say, if you were going to write headlines, there is a real opportunity for him tonight, Bridgie.
Get the service in the right areas, and the form that he is in, going back to his old, well, it's not his old stomping ground, but against his old team, no more incentive needed. He will be given that, he'll have that extra leap, he'll have that extra bit of energy, and he's got a huge point to prove, because the club that had let him go, and Leeds, obviously we've given him a lifeline, and he's repaying the benefits with the goals that he's got. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the performance he puts in. He's going to be up for it.
They're a strange team, Everton. I mean, they're kind of, middling in the league, so it's not that surprising that they win one here, they draw one there, they lose one. But they beat Villa. You wouldn't have necessarily put that down. Villa are in great form at the moment, but then they lose games that maybe you think they should do better in. They're just that inconsistency. We saw against Newcastle when where Leeds went out for that opening, and they really took it to Newcastle. They need to go and do something like that tonight, don't they? Or do you think they'll be a bit more conservative?
I think it's, like you say, I think it's going to be such a close game to call this one. Probably a 50-50 game, but I do think if we start quick, as Bridgie mentioned, and we get on the front foot, I think we've got the quality and we've got the players to go and get something. But we've got to make sure in the first part of the game we do everything properly, no mistakes, nothing sloppy. Like you say, put your head on it when you need to, make your clearances when you need to. And I think sometimes if you can't play out, just hit the dials, go long. We've got people, and one thing we've got is Dominic to hit. And if we can hit him, he'll want to hold it up and lay it into people and then spin and get off. So I just think we've got an opportunity tonight again to go and get something. You know, looking at their team, looking at our team, I just think on paper we've got a little bit of an edge on these.
It's like Bryn says, only 2 wins in 7 home Premier League games for Everton at their new stadium. The one that got me that stands out, they've got 7 clean sheets since November. That's, you know, the most in the Premier League. So they're no mugs, they know how to defend, they get behind the ball, so it's not going to be easy. And like I say, I think we've just got to be very clinical. I think if we could have learned anything from playing Everton this season, it was when Newcastle went there to the Hill Dickinson. I think they won the game 4-1 or 4-0, but the first 20 minutes absolutely pressed the life out of Everton. They couldn't play through it. They didn't win the second, so I'd love to think that we can go there with that kind of mindset and just really press from the front with Aronson.
Yeah, let's go back to that first game of the season. Not that it has any bearing on this game, but it was interesting, wasn't it? Because, you know, there were a lot of new players that had come in, a bit of transition as well. I mean, for them, Jack Grealish had just and he hadn't quite got into his flow yet. He came on later in the game. But it was Lucas Nemecha who stepped up for the penalty towards the end of the game after a really good performance from Leeds. And you suddenly thought, you know, that's some real bottle to step up and take that. They got the penalty. Everton weren't particularly happy about it, but he stepped up and buried it.
Yeah, I mean, Tarkowski's obviously just trying to blag it that it's not a handball, but you can see clearly it is. But like you say, it takes a lot of character, a lot of bottle to step up and take that, and the winner as well. So,
but do you know what makes that pen even better, Dom, the way the keeper goes the right way?
Yeah, exactly.
And it still goes in, slots bottom corner. That shows how confident that was, because to get one against Pickford, when he guesses the right way, very impressive.
Yeah, Leeds going joint top of the league at that point. Just for them. But, you know, it was important, actually. You look back on it, these things are important. It is important to get that first win in a league campaign. It just brings in a little bit of confidence. And it doesn't have, like I say, it doesn't have any bearing on today's game. A lot of different players now for both teams play. I know you're an admirer of Iliman Ndiaye, who's playing along with Gay, both back from winning the AFCON as well, so they're straight back into the team. Absolutely. Shows how much David Moyes thinks about them.
I'm gutted that they're back, because Ndiaye, he's a player that when he's got the ball at his feet, he's very, very dangerous. So, you know, we're talking about Goodmanson being out on that left-hand side. It's up to James Justin to make sure that he, you know, shows Ndiaye inside, doesn't let him go on the outside. He's got to make sure he shows him inside into our numbers, so Gruev and Ampadu can try and double up on him, because he is such a tidy player. And the other lad in midfield, like Garner, we talked when we saw the team sheet. I think the lad Gay in the defensive midfield, I've seen him get red cards. He's fallen out with a couple of his players this season. He's temperamental, but Garner and Ndiaye,
yeah, they're 2 good players, and they'll be so important for Everton tonight to get them on the front foot, get the ball moving quickly. But Garner, I've been impressed with him this season.
Leeds have got really good stats for pressure high up the field and winning the ball back. And what we're talking about with, you know, Nemecha's goal against Fulham, it's wanting that ball, isn't it? It's so much about that. But how impressed have you been? You see with Brendan Aronson in particular, he just hunts down everyone, doesn't he?
Yeah, and there's ways of doing it. You know, what's impressive, the way you can't just go as an individual and press and press and press and run around like a headless chicken, because you'll get passed off. It's about pressing at the right moments and the right times and knowing what the trigger is going to be for the team to do it. And, you know, I know we got beat 4-3 at St James's Park, but the amount of pressure that we did with the press, that was so good to force errors from the opposition. I think I'd like to think that's the mentality we're going to take into the first 15, 20 minutes of this game, because we've got energy, but it's the message and the organisation of how Daniel Farker's got everybody singing off the same hymn sheet at the moment since the change of system.
I'll tell you why I'm excited about this one. I just look at it and just think, if we can get something tonight, guys, there is a real opportunity to just stamp on our authority like we have done in the last few weeks on the league table as it is. Is it going to pan out that way today?
I can't wait to text Angus Kinnear after this, because he's now at Everton, and I'm going to text Angus and say, unlucky, mate. But so
it's not just ex-players that you text from different clubs, it's also... the C-suite as well, Bridget.
Absolutely.
Right, Dom, how's this one going to go? How do you see it going? Can Leeds get something here tonight? Get themselves a good result?
Yeah, I do. As we mentioned, their former home's not been great, so they'll want to put that right. But I think we've got a great opportunity to go and get someone. I really do believe that.
Not committing to a score there, Dom?
Yeah, I'll go for a score. I'm going to go for 2-1.
2-1. Bridget, what are we thinking?
I'm going 1-0 win away.
Yeah. We'll take either of those, to be fair.
Do you know who the goal scorer is?
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Do
you celebrate against your old club, though? That's the question.
Yeah, always.
All right. Let's hope we haven't jinxed it. OK, the players are heading out. So it's time we head to our commentary team for the first time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Leeds taking on Everton. Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo with all the action for you.
Well, the surroundings may have changed dramatically, but the entrance music remains the same. Everton emerge to the Z Cars theme.